Good afternoon, and welcome to today's New York City Council hearing for the Committee on Higher Education. If you would like to testify, you must fill out a slip in the back of the room with one of the sergeant-at-arms. At this time, please silence all electronic devices. Just a reminder that no one may approach the dais at any point during this hearing. Chair Dinowitz, we are ready to begin.
Good afternoon. I'm Councilmember Eric Dinowitz, Chair of the Committee on Higher Education and proud CUNY alum. Welcome to our oversight hearing, How Fit Are CUNY Facilities? Let me start by noting that April is National Community College Month, and by expressing this committee's appreciation for the diligent and demanding work that CUNY's 7 community colleges do every day in serving more than 65,000 students. That's nearly 1/3 of CUNY's undergraduates. As CUNY Chancellor Felix Matos Rodriguez wrote in his op-ed piece in the Bronx Times, many of CUNY's community college students are the first in their families to attend college, as well as working adults and members of socioeconomically diverse groups that have been traditionally underserved in higher ed. Thank you to the 7 community colleges for your work, which is especially important to recognize now as we City Council members argue for more generous support of CUNY in our budget negotiations. As the Chancellor wrote, CUNY is an investment in New Yorkers as well as in the city's economic well-being, and we agree. Now for today's hearing on CUNY facilities. Stories of CUNY facilities in disrepair are not hard to find, whether we are reading about them in local newspapers or hearing about them from CUNY students, faculty, and staff. But we know that it is no mean feat to operate 309 campus and central office buildings containing 29 million square feet of space. Classrooms, labs, computer centers, theaters, athletic facilities, offices, and more. Furthermore, most of these buildings are over 30 years old, though some are over 100 years old. And the average age of a CUNY building is over 50. We also know that maintaining and repairing buildings costs a lot of money. And we know that nationwide there is a backlog of work that needs to be done to bring college campuses up to the standards that communities set for them. Today we want to understand what CUNY needs to make its facilities as fit as we all want them to be. I want to acknowledge my colleagues on the Committee of Higher Education who are present, Councilmember Gail Brewer and Councilmember Chris Marte. I would also like to thank Adam Staropoli, my Legislative and Budget Director, Jenna Klaus, my Chief of Staff, Sahar Moazami, the committee's counsel, and Regina Paul, the committee's policy analyst. I would like to remind everyone who wishes to testify in person today that you must fill out an appearance card, which is located on the desk of the Sergeant-at-Arms near the entrance of the room. Please fill out even if you have already registered to testify in advance. To allow as many people as possible to testify, public testimony will be limited to 3 minutes per person. I'm going to ask my colleagues to limit their questions and comments to 5 minutes. Please note that witnesses who are here will testify before those on Zoom. Now, in accordance with the rules of the council, I will administer the affirmation to the witnesses from CUNY. Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this committee, and to respond honestly to council member questions?
We do.
Thank you. As a reminder to all of our witnesses, please state your name prior to your testimony for the record, and you may begin.
Good afternoon, Chair Dinowitz. Before I begin my testimony, I want to recognize one of our trustees, Michael Abenides, who's here. He's a member of the Facilities Committee of the Board. I always really appreciate volunteer board members who take time out of their busy schedule to come in and be part of everything that it goes to show the commitment that they have for CUNY. Esteemed members of the New York City Council Committee of Higher Education, I'm Hector Batista, Executive Vice Chancellor and Chief Operating Officer at the City University of New York. I'm here today with Vice Chancellor for Facility Planning, Construction, Management, Mohammed Atala, and Senior Vice Chancellor, Chief Financial Officer, Sharif Solomon. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. We appreciate your continued and unwavering support. While the university was founded over 175 years ago, our mission of providing first-rate education to all our students, regardless of means or background, is just as important today as it was then. Our commitment to this mission has made CUNY a true engine for social mobility. Our graduates diversifying the city workforce in every sector. So it's true, our students, faculty, and staff contribute to the city's economic, civic, and cultural life. CUNY is also part of the physical landscape of our city. With 25 campuses spread across the 5 boroughs, the university 300 buildings encompassing 29 million square feet, 2,400 classroom labs, and various facilities supporting our mission. The space are vital, not just to students, faculty, but also to our communities we serve. You might remember when Chancellor Matos Rodriguez unveiled the university's strategic roadmap. We are committed to undertaking projects to maintain and improve the university infrastructure, recapture underutilized space, improve technology, and provide the campus expansions to support student success. Upgrading our facilities portfolio is vital to ensure that our graduates are ready for the high-demand industry. A significant aspect of our infrastructure reality is the age of our facilities. The average age of CUNY buildings stand at 62 years old, and 50% of our buildings are 52 years and older, and we have 40 buildings that exceed 100 years old. Some of the areas of most challenges are due to the aging infrastructure, include boilers, chillers, HVAC equipment, elevators, windows, roof, and electrical infrastructure. This historical depth adds to the complexity of our maintenance and upgrading strategies, emphasizes the need for careful planning and execution, and preserving these assets for future generations. The upkeep and enhancement of CUNY extensive facility portfolio entails sizable load of 497 projects in different designs, construction phase, value about $3.5 billion. Adding to our achievement, we have recently wrapped up 44 projects totaling an impressive $555 million. An example, one of these projects was the completion of the Nursing Education Research Practice Center building at Lehman College. This is an important transformational project, not only for advancing nursing education, but also addressing the health inequalities in the Bronx. We're thankful for the generous funding and support that was made for that project. We're also very happy to be there with Chair Dinowitz and his father joining us at Lehman to celebrate this very, very important project. Of course, our 7 community colleges play a critical role in advancing CUNY's mission by offering students an empowering education and professional skills they need to succeed. We're committed to providing community college students with modern facilities to support their educational journey. For example, at Bronx Community College, we are replacing the decade-old boiler to ensure that the campus is energy efficient, but also reliable heat and hot water for our faculty, students, and staff. At the Hostos Community College, we're deploying a large HVAC project with 9 handlers and currently being replaced with 475 Grand Concourse, which will contribute to improving the air quality. Our projects serve as the seed for a creation of circular construction industry and the reuse of construction materials, providing sustainability growth for our community college programs. New buildings management system, Queensborough Community College, will reduce energy consumption, eliminate temperature swings, and provide consistent learning environment for our students. The replacement of critical health and safety system is part of our 2 areas of strategy and investment. The first is access to preservation, which is an investment on critical infrastructure like the boilers at Bronx Community College. And the other is program growth, which includes new construction, like we contemplate most recent capital request for a new applied health science building at Hostos Community College. Here's the reality of our community college infrastructure. There's 111 buildings spanning roughly 7.6 million square feet with an estimated replacement value of $9.2 billion. The Common Facility Management Standard advocate for renewal budget is about 2% of the replacement value. For CUNY Community College, it translates to $200 million. That's very important to know. Over the past 5 years, CUNY has received an average of $64 million for both senior and community college, which includes $29 million community college per year and city capital, which is only translates to 0.3% of estimated replacement value for facilities. We're looking forward to working with you, your colleagues in the administration, to secure additional funding to continue modernizing our buildings. Now I'd like to turn it over to Vice Chancellor Atala to discuss details of our capital planning process, challenges that we face, and efforts to improve our process.
Thank you very much, EVC Batista. Good afternoon, Council Member Dinowitz and members of the committee. My name is Mohammed Atala, and I joined CUNY in 2021. My mission and the Chief Operating Officer charge has been to improve our capital planning and construction processes, enhance the capacity of the team, and develop a plan for a state of good repair. Central to our strategy is the pursuit of system efficiencies and the exploration of new capital funding opportunities. These efforts aim to deliver superior facility performance and ensure a long-term state of good repair across all CUNY properties. This includes developing campus-specific procedures for building infrastructure condition assessment, sustainability, and fully realizing the value of our real estate assets. We have undertaken a major initiative that is essential for the future of our university, developing a facility condition assessment. This isn't just a routine evaluation, it is a comprehensive review of our assets that is the cornerstone for our strategic capital planning, guiding us towards informed and impactful decisions. The facility condition assessment spanned across 20 campuses and measured approximately about 26.9 million square feet. The objective is to determine the current state of repair of all systems and infrastructure and identify any future needs of deferred maintenance backlog. The assessment identified around 27,000 systems that were then grouped into categories such as HVAC, electrical, and plumbing, among others. These systems include exterior doors, elevators, switchgears, chillers, boilers, and other equipment. Each system was rated based on its existing condition and age-based degradation as good, fair, poor, or critical. And the requirements, if any, for each of the systems were identified. The preliminary assessment of the result of this survey concluded that the university would require about $60.8 billion to address the deferred maintenance backlog and capital renewal needs over the next 7 years. Of that, about $5.6 billion would be needed to address about 18,000 systems that are identified as being vital for ensuring the safety and integrity of the assets. The top 3 areas with the highest needs are HVAC, electrical, and plumbing. To prioritize capital spending, the university plans to use the data collected through the assessment and implement an approach we are calling at this point is the strategic method and responsive timing, or SMART for short. This approach involves assessing system groups based on their financial needs and dividing them according to their assessed rating, fair, poor, or critical. The university will also consider the recommended expectancy of those critical items to schedule their replacement action year. The university's strategic roadmap includes a goal of achieving a 55% of its vital building systems in a state of good repair by 2030. The SMART approach will help the university prioritize capital spending with an emphasis on efficiency, safety, and cost effectiveness, all crucial for the smooth and effective operation of its facilities. We recognize the importance of being effective stewards of the precious funding that you allocate for university's capital needs, and that is why we have been focused on administrative improvements to raise the bar on performance. But equally important is our budget planning process, so we could advance a capital budget request that meets the expectations of all stakeholders. I would like at this point to share with you the process of crafting our annual capital request book. The book captures the aspirations of our 25 campuses over the next 5 years and is a product of strong collaboration between each campus and our central office. The process starts with a series of engaging meetings where we invite every campus to share the project they envision. Following these discussions, we evaluate each request, assess the scope, and determine the estimated budget need. The outcome of this exercise is a catalog of individual campus needs, but also system-wide needs as informed by the facility condition assessment and necessary to achieve our goal of 55% of our buildings' vital systems in a state of good repair condition by 2030. Our capital budget request for FY 2025 is the largest to date, reflecting a 5-year baseline request of $400 million for senior colleges and $200 million for community colleges to address deferred maintenance, state of good repair needs, and meet ongoing infrastructure needs, and also support some programmatic needs. The 5-year request also include $170 million per year for senior colleges and $29 million for community colleges to support the university's sustainability projects. These initiatives are aligned with our strategic energy management plan, aiming to reduce greenhouse gas emissions significantly by 2030 and achieve both state and city mandates. Recognizing the critical role of science and technology in contemporary education and research, we are requesting $50 million a year for senior colleges and $12 million per year for community colleges to upgrade our science labs. This renovation will enhance the learning experience, support cutting-edge research, and contribute to student success and retention across the disciplines. To further these goals, we are also focusing on large capital projects that modernize our facilities and align with CUNY's strategic direction. Projects like the renovations at Baruch College, Brooklyn College, and the request for new facilities at York and Medgar Evers colleges underscore our commitment to providing state-of-the-art educational environment. If we focus on community colleges are a crucial priority with plans for new and enhanced facilities like the Applied Health and Sciences building at Ostos Community College. As Executive Vice Chancellor Batista mentioned, the community college portfolio totals 111 buildings and about 7.6 million square feet with an estimated replacement value of about $9.2 billion, which translates to the need for $200 million a year to keep these facilities in a state of good repair. CUNY's FY25 January capital budget was about $735 million, spanning from FY24 to FY28, while the city's 5-year capital budget was $85 billion, which means CUNY is less than 1% of the city's capital portfolio. CUNY has made strides to demonstrate that it can deliver higher registrations over 100% of the plan in FY23. It is our hope that we can continue to capitalize on our momentum with additional funding. We understand the fiscal challenges with capital funding, specifically outlined in the call letter memo explaining that cuts were needed due to the limit imposed by the New York State Constitution on the city's ability to borrow. The limit is based on a 5-year rolling average of New York City property values, which declined sharply during the pandemic. CUNY has been having positive conversations with our colleagues at OMB about our capital program, and we look forward to working with the administration and you and your colleagues to allow CUNY to continue that momentum by securing additional funding to improve our overall campus environment at our community colleges. I wish to speak a little about the administrative process to realize the funding. CUNY makes every effort to maximize every capital dollar we receive to ensure efficient and timely project delivery. Once CUNY receives general support, we navigate the detailed administrative processes that require approvals from OMB and the state's Division of Budget. For CUNY projects, we detail the project's needs, costs, and tracking details as required for the city's certificate to proceed process. We take great care to clearly define these details to ensure that the timeline for the CP process is as short as possible, preventing a prolonging of the process that could result from additional factors like project detail, questions, and revisions. After obtaining City OMB approval and receiving the proceed directive, contract registration with the city's Comptroller's Office is required. Comptroller's Directive 10 requires projects to be fully funded within the fiscal year before registration. This can delay projects, specifically if funding is incremental. The preliminary budget's capital cuts initiated by the New York State Constitution's borrowing limits impacted CUNY's capital program. We responded by reducing future lump sum allocations affecting our ability to fund urgent capital needs. These delays of crucial projects that are essential for our modernization efforts and the well-being of our community. Commitment delays are more than administrative balancing. They represent delays in advancement that can truly make a difference for our students and for the city. CUNY's commitment plan highlights delay in projects waiting for full funding. Despite these challenges, CUNY registered over 100% in FY23, a testament to potential success when delays are minimized. If additional funding materialize, we can maintain high project commitment rates and aim to spend $200 million annually on community college repairs. Finally, before I conclude, I would like to share the progress and plans the university has made, specifically our efforts to enhance our annual spending and the volume of completion of our projects, since this is a major strategic objective of ours. To achieve these goals, CUNY has been proactive in implementing several key initiatives. And let me walk you through some of these. First, we established a project management office, or a PMO. This move was designed to bolster our team's capacity to deliver projects not just on time, but within budget. The PMO is playing a crucial role in improving our department's reporting capabilities, which in turn supports better decision-making and project monitoring. We have also taken steps to redefine the roles of our project managers and assistant directors. This was done to heighten accountability and ensure our leaders are more directly involved in the management of projects. We are moving towards a model where involvement and oversight are key. We have also introduced a new project management methodology to guide our processes and unify our steps. This provides a clear roadmap for efficient project management. Technology plays a big part in our strategy. We are implementing PMWeb, a project management tool, across our operations. This technology integrates functions like schedule management, cost, procurement, budgeting, and accounting. Furthermore, DASNY also utilizes the same technology, and we are working closely with them to ensure seamless integration. Standardization is another area we are focusing on, particularly in reporting. We have introduced new levels of reporting, both micro and macro, across project management. This includes a variety of reports that offer greater visibility into our projects. Collaboration with DASNY has been instrumental. Together, we are looking at ways to influence project outcomes through various activities. This includes everything from streamlining, project scoping, expediting design completion, contract awards, and contractors' accountability, and all with the objective to increase annual spending and deal with the funding backlog. As mentioned earlier, significant effort has been our facility condition assessment. By engaging a third-party consultant, we have gained a comprehensive understanding of the condition of our buildings, which is critical for planning and achieving our state of good repair objectives. Maintenance is also a key. We are upgrading our maintenance capabilities to ensure all campuses can perform to a standardized level of maintenance. This includes regular and preventive maintenance for critical components like elevators, boilers, and fire alarms. On the procurement front, we have improved our capabilities to procure services more efficiently. This has been done by integrating procurement into our PMWeb application. We have also established over 250 requirements contracts in all disciplines of design and construction in order to facilitate faster procurement of vendors, which in turn reduces project times and enhance completion. Lastly, on the sustainability front, we have developed energy management master plans for our colleges aiming to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and improve infrastructure conditions, contributing to our state of good repair initiatives. As we navigate the complexities of aligning our aspirations with the realities of budget constraints, our narrative evolves. Again, FY 2025 capital budget request reflects our unwavering commitment to this journey. It is a call to action, seeking support not just for maintenance, but for transformation, ensuring our campuses are safe, sustainable, and conducive to the high-quality education that defines CUNY. In closing, it is important to note that the essence of our mission transcends the physical state of our facilities. It is about nurturing an environment where education thrives, where students are empowered to succeed, and where communities are strengthened. With your support, we can realize this vision. ensuring that CUNY not only stands in a state of good repair, but shines as a pillar of opportunity, social mobility, and educational excellence. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. I'd like to note we've been joined by honorary member of the Higher Education Committee, Councilmember Lincoln Ressler. Huge advocate for CUNY. You were speaking in your testimony about the assessment of the facilities. Is that assessment yet complete?
Yeah, the assessment, the consulting work, and the surveys is complete. We are now in the final steps of drawing the inferences of the assessment and drawing the final results of it and the outcome.
And then will that be public?
Yes, it could be made public, yes.
Like on your,
No. You know, I think that, yes, the answer to that question, of course, is going to be, you know, a public document that we're going to share with the presidents and the chancellery, and use that document as a way to navigate our work as going forward.
and do you have preliminary data? I mean, how many facilities there are? How many things need maintenance? Just talking about maintenance right now.
As we indicated in the testimony, some of the preliminary numbers we have, so we have an overall number of about 6.8 billion, as I said, over the next 7 years. Yeah.
Right, I meant, like out of, I forget how many classrooms you testified, out of these number of classrooms, how many need maintenance for various reasons, which we'll get to in a sec. Do you have information like that?
We're still analyzing this.
So all the, okay. So out of all the buildings, do you know how many boilers are broken? That's still being collected?
It is collected, but we are summarizing, tabulating this information. As I mentioned, what we have about 27,000 systems. System is a boiler, a chiller, a roof, a boiler. There is about 18,000 of those that are the, what we call it, vital systems. And we are now looking at the top priorities within these ones in terms of boilers, chillers, roofs, and all of the different components.
So 18,000 of the 27,000 are vital systems. What would constitute a not as vital system? We would say like carpet, paint, like we look at the vital systems at the system that if it fails, it will really stop the education and learning and research operation of the institution. You said carpet?
Carpet, yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about like carpeting, which sounds boring, but you know, we get reports of things like mold, things like leaking roofs. Classes had to be moved online because of lack of heat. And in your testimony, you mentioned the word safety a number of times. I'm interested to know how in your report, in your analysis, you're defining safety.
Well, let me first start out with.
Yeah.
So I have with me today Howard Aspen, who's in charge of Executive Director for Environmental across the university. So when we have a report of a particular classroom or situation that, you know, we quickly work with the local. Each college has the same position in each of the college. They work with Howard to sort of mitigate whatever those issues are at any given time. Those complaints come to them in multiple ways, but it is something that we take extremely seriously and something we address.
Yeah. And to be clear, I mean, in the City Council's preliminary budget response, you know, we are advocating for more funding for the facilities. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get an understanding of what that looks like. Because when I hear HVAC as vital, that to me means that will be prioritized with capital funding. But what I also see are articles, for instance, Hunter College is falling down from New York Magazine. The article opens with a discussion of Hunter's campus being overrun by rodents, including in the classroom. And I'm wondering if, per your analysis, if you are considering that vital maintenance, even though it may not fit into that HVAC category, it may fit into the carpeting category, or it's not vital, per your analysis.
As EVC Batista mentioned, when it affects health and safety, as you mentioned, carpet mold, that's for sure will be part of our analysis. We prioritize any aspect, any work that is needed that has an impact on the health and safety of the occupant, that becomes a priority.
So there are two components here, right? There is the construction component, which
Yeah.
is what Mohammed is alluding to in terms of boilers and whatever, and then there's the health and safety piece of it. So when we have a situation where we have, for example, an air conditioner is leaking, and that creates a problem with the carpet, and that now becomes something we need to address. That's where Howard, or someone like Howard, and at the college level, sort of, it gets flagged, and we address health and safety, so that they're two different components. Now that becomes a priority, because now we've identified that there's a health and safety, so we have to mitigate. So we have contracts with engineers and so forth to come in and sort of address those things. So what Mohammed is alluding to is the repairs of boilers and things along those lines. So from his world, those are the things that are critical to maintaining operations. Now, on Howard's world, what creates a challenge is when we have a health and safety situation, that's something that's also high priority. So it's a balancing act that we're dealing with, but both of them are priorities.
But your assessment, does that include, I'm trying to understand your assessment, because the report hasn't been released yet, but that includes holes in the wall where rats are crawling through. Does it include mold in the ceiling, or it's only including
No,
the hard items like?
No, the assessment, sorry to finish.
Please,
it.
please.
No, the assessment is really focused on on our facilities, now what do I mean by that? Boilers, those kind of systems, right? We're gonna have an ability to understand when a boiler, so the issue that happened in the Bronx, with this new report, we'll be able to know that the lifeline of a particular boiler is gonna have 6 months or whatever, so we could do an intervention so before that boiler goes. Then there is the issue of health and safety. Health and safety is done at the campus level with the support of the central office. If we have a particular situation that's happening in a classroom or whatever, where there's been identified as mold or any of those situations, then we work with the campus to mitigate that issue. But this report is not going to address those issues. This report is all about systems.
Great. So thank you for the clarification. So we're hearing a lot of, I mean, I have a few articles here. I'd rather not read more about rats. But what is the process now for you being aware of it to immediately address it? Who in the college? Can a student report it? Can a professor report it? Janitor, president? Who are the people who reports this? So before it gets to the news, it gets to your office and it is maintained.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, sometimes we don't hear about it until it gets to the news. And unfortunately, that happens, right? But if the system is working right, and it should, the way it sort of works is at the local level, a report is made by a student or whoever that there is a situation that is investigated by the local director of environmental protection at the local college. If it's something that becomes a lot sort of elevated, a lot higher, that they need some support from the central office, then Howard gets involved. But on a daily basis, Howard is talking to various members at the college community, and on a monthly basis, he meets with all the directors of environmental, at the campuses to sort of try to mitigate what's out there and what are some of the challenges. But sometimes we don't hear about it until.
So that seems to me to be one of the areas of, we'll use some educational terms, areas of growth. Because it seems to me a lot of the complaints that I get in my office and a lot of the articles I read aren't just about the big ticket items like the boilers, which we do hear about, but it's the black mold, which you may not hear about. It's the rats, it's the smaller leaks. And so it sounds like there's no real process for someone who's in the classroom, who's being affected by that, whose health may be affected, to make sure it gets to you so you can do the work that we all care about.
Well, I don't think, I wouldn't agree that there is no process. There is a process at the campus level that somebody could report it, and that becomes an issue that then gets kicked up to that particular area, or it becomes an issue that then facilities has to get involved to mitigate or whatever. So that there is a process at each of the campuses to address that. And every member of the community has the ability to sort of report that. I think what I'm trying to sort of separate, when I was lucky enough to be appointed to this position, right, this great mission, one of the things that, and I came in front of this body, we talked about facilities, and we sort of started focusing in on this whole notion of the state of good repair.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned, we have an ancient infrastructure, 50 years plus, buildings, some buildings, 40 buildings over 100 years old. So, and we don't get enough funding to be able to address that. We're trying to play catch up, right? So the idea is, how do we begin to tackle major systems? So for example, as it's a big deal, a boiler, if we let this boiler sort of, we don't repair the boiler, that boiler then leaks, creates some other problems, will create the mold problems and all that. So our idea here is to begin to tackle this from a systematic way in terms of trying to look at these big systems and begin to repair some of those big systems while still trying to do the day-to-day maintenance of facilities, which is at the local level.
And to be clear, you said the 2% for community college, 200 million would be the ideal number where you could replace the boilers and also mitigate some of the other problems with mold and rats. Yes? Okay.
That's the industry standard.
Okay. I just want to get back to this other thing about sort of the reporting. Does your office, the central office, keep numbers about how many requests come in for for some maintenance, and we'll get to some of the hard stuff later, but the maintenance and how many of those requests actually are able to be fulfilled, and in what timeline? Is that data that's kept by your office?
So I just want, everything that you're saying, we do.
You do? Okay.
We keep track of that and try to.
Centrally,
yeah.
Thanks for whispering the answer in his ear.
Can I add something about that?
It's called collaboration. And so that information, is that information that's collected and shared? Meaning you got 100 service requests and you were able to complete 99, let's hope, of them within a week. Is that data that's collected and shared?
So that's a very good question, and this is one of the initiatives that we're also working on. As mentioned in the testimony, one of the improvements in the last page of the testimony is one of the upgrades that we're undertaking now is upgrading our Archibus system. There is a system called Archibus.
How do you spell that?
Archibus. Archibus. It's a very well-known system.
Archibus, yeah.
Archibus, yeah. It's a system for maintenance and space utilization. So this is a system where the campuses at the local level captures the work orders for implementing those small and routine maintenance. And there is a variety of implementation for this system. We are upgrading it now so that we can unify the utilization of the system and we'd be able to run that level of reports that you brought forward as well.
And is it your intention to have public data on that? And honestly, I think it's very important. I think a news article here and there, none of us want that. None of us in the city want that for our students. I'm not sure it's clear to everyone just how dire your financial situation is and how critical it is that the city council, again in our budget response, that funding be elevated because of how many service requests you are unable because of funding to take care of. And who loses out is our students and our faculty. Not just lose out, but are placed in many cases unsafe environments. And so is it your intention to make that data public?
The intention is to really get our campuses to use this technology more efficiently. Right now, it's a new technology that we got. I would say the local community, and you're probably going to hear other members later on testify and tell you how what a great tool it is. So Mohammed and his team are really focused on making sure that it's being, as it was rolled out, that is being used appropriately. That's going to give us a lot of information that then we're going to be able to really do intervention, to be able to address those things as we're trying to triage the resources that we have to try to deal with the most critical situations we got. But let me be clear, health and safety is at the top of everything, right? We want to make sure that people are in a safe environment, right? But the idea here is to try to tackle this in multiple ways, as I alluded to it earlier. Try to address these systems, because if we don't address these systems, then they become other bigger problems. But also at the same token, implement this new technology to be able to have real data and a way to track, to your earlier point, how many classrooms or whatever, how many problems we have in each of the campus, and be able to begin to address some of that.
All right, I want to turn it over to Councilmember Brewer, who has some questions, and then to Councilmember Ressler for questions as well.
Thank you very much. I have John Jay in my district and Macaulay in particular, but I do know a lot of the schools. The issue for me is always the technology, as you suggested. So, like, that's a big system. So it's systems, obviously, for you to be able to track. It's systems for the students and the faculty to be able to operate, et cetera. My question is, do you keep, like, is there some notion of what the cost would be to have what you actually need? I know with John Jay, I give them, I mean, for the last 20 years, I've been giving the money's never enough in terms of the technology, because every 5 years, it often outdates itself, and you have to start all over. So on the technology in particular, because it's a big issue, of course, for students and for academics, where do you put that in terms of priorities? How do you decide what is the next technology dollar needed, et cetera? Just the whole technology picture.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Councilwoman. Good to see you. We actually recently, it's kind of public information. You'll see we have a technology committee of the board where we presented the investment that this administration has done, and it just happened a week ago, Councilwoman. So you could see the level of investment from looking at systems to better track our financing and better onboard our staff and create benefits. And so those kind of systems, so systems like having multiple points where if we have one part of the internet is down, there's a backup system to be able to address. So we're doing that across the university. The board has approved hundreds of millions of dollars for us to sort of invest and this, and over the last couple of years, we've done a lot to do that. For example, we've been working now with the DOT to try to make sure that the wires that are underneath our campuses, which in a lot of cases when you had rain or some issues, created interruption in the campus. Now we have multiple points. So if that one goes down, we have a way to turn on another process. We're upgrading.
The redundancy, yeah.
We're upgrading our whole internet process to have better connectivity within each of the campuses. So we're doing it, but we've really been focused, as you probably read and saw, we recently had some issues connected to cybersecurity. We really have been really focused on improving our cybersecurity. We created a centralized cybersecurity hub at CUNY. And any given day, we have 900 million systems that go into CUNY, inquiries that go into CUNY through the internet. So we're as strong as our weakest link. And the idea here is to really try to really make CUNY from a cybersecurity. So we spend a lot of time sort of focused on that. So upgrading our system is part of our strategic plan. It's goal number 4. It's something that we have plans, and we're actually somewhat ahead of schedule on some of those initiatives. So I'd love to know more about where the areas that you're concerned about, because I'm sure that that is part of our plan.
And the students pay a fee for their tech too in some way, shape, or form. How does that, do you survey to see if they're pleased with what their fee is going toward? Does it go towards the what you're talking about?
Yeah, so you should know, the students have a tech committee that is that our CIO sort of works with our students on, and those resources are allocated based on the conversation that is had with our students. So they have a tremendous input in how those resources are allocated and are system-wide and in each of the campuses.
Okay, and so do you do a survey to see if they're pleased with what the outcome is that you have devised?
I'm not aware of the survey. I'm sure there is something, but I know that they're very, very involved.
In the past, they have complained a lot. So that's all.
Well, if I could reserve the right to get back to you on that, I
Yes,
will definitely get back to you, but I am sure that we have that data.
Okay, I won't ask about the hole in the, because I would have thought that could have helped some of these systems if you'd held on to the hole in the ground and then you could have sold it and made some money. But I'll leave that for another day.
Well, you're consistent, Councilwoman, and, but I will say this, that we are, last time you asked about the capital dollars are in the EDC budget, and Sparks is moving forward, and we think it's going to be a great project for CUNY.
Thank you, Councilmember Brewer. We've been joined by Councilmember Oswald Felice. I will now turn it over to honorary member of the committee, Councilmember Lincoln Ressler.
Thank you, Chair Dinowitz. I mostly come here just to remind the Executive Vice Chancellor how great a hire he made as his CFO. So it's good to see you always, Sharif. I have some general questions. I'd like to ask some questions about City Tech. So just to make sure I have this right, over the last 5 years, the average city contribution of capital funding to our community colleges has been $29 million a year?
Yeah, this is a number, yeah.
And have you testified today that you believe that we need about $200 million in city capital funding for our community colleges to maintain a proper state of repair, a good state of repair?
Correct.
Have you conducted a broader physical needs assessment for the capital needs of the community colleges?
We performed throughout the last year an assessment of all of our CUNY facilities, community colleges and senior colleges, and we are now in the final steps of gathering the information and making inferences out of it and developing our execution plans.
So when will the physical needs assessment be done? I apologize.
Sorry, say again?
When will the physical needs assessment be done for the community colleges?
It will be, we are in the process of finalizing the report and issuing it, so that I would say like within a month or so.
Great. We look forward to reviewing it here at the council. And could you just remind me the mayor's proposed, or the mayor's mid-year cuts to the CUNY capital plan?
What was the number? Do you want to take that?
So, council member, there past few rounds there have been some pushes. I believe in January, as compared to September, was 133 million.
$133 million in planned capital allocations to CUNY for the next 5 years that have been pushed out.
Part of the commitment plan, and I would just note that the call letter that that was released for the capital budget planning process did note the borrowing capacity limits by the state constitution that relate to
that we presume will be resolved in a matter of hours.
We are waiting for to certainly see the bills, and hopefully there is an expansion of that capacity, which I think could create opportunities for all. But just want to note that we are also working with OMB and collaborating on our capital needs, and we've been having very, very positive conversations. And so I think that there is an understanding of the real needs at CUNY.
You're a far more diplomatic person than I am, but when the city is allocating just $29 million a year in capital funding, when you've estimated that you need close to 10 times that amount annually to maintain a good state of repair, and at the same time the city cut $133 million from the CUNY capital plan over the next 5 years to push that out to future years at a time when our facilities simply cannot afford greater cuts, I think it's unconscionable. It's a mayor who demonstrates in his budgeting that he doesn't care about CUNY, and that is bad for the future of the city of New York. I hope that you're able to persuade him otherwise, but the record shows something different. And I just want to bring it back home to what I'm experiencing on the ground in District 33, where I have the privilege of representing City Tech. I had an opportunity to go on a tour earlier this month with professors at City Tech about the conditions that they're working in. And, you know, they showed me classrooms where they pointed out spots where there is black mold. And the thing that I found most disconcerting was these issues have existed for many years. And there's a website about the mold conditions that are known at City Tech. And I totally appreciate that you all have been horribly underfunded, and without resources, it's very challenging to correct these conditions. But we're asking our professors and our students to work in these environments each and every day, and it's not, we should do better. So the primary question I wanted to ask is, for the mold conditions at City Tech that have been well known and established, professors issue complaints. Sometimes things are addressed, but then there's no communication back to the professors, back to the Professional Staff Congress on what exactly was remediated and what the conditions that were identified. Is there an expectation that the PSC, that the union should have for communication on how conditions were remediated? And could you elaborate on that?
Well, thank you for the question, and thank you for always your support. Let me take your question in multiple ways. Number one is, I think that just because you see a stain on the wall doesn't mean there's mold there, right? I mean, I think that what we normally do when these things are brought to our attention, we bring in an expert to sort of evaluate that situation, right? So, and that one, let's just say that we reserve the right to sort of look at it, right? I think that in terms of the communication, your larger question, the communication, obviously once something is taken care of, I assume that it's visual and then they see it. But in the same token, I think that I will check to see what kind of communication sort of happened. I do know that there's a safety and environmental committee of the PSC with the administration, and they meet and they go over these issues where I think those things sort of get resolved and get addressed.
You know, I've reached out to the president and I've asked for a meeting to go through these issues as well and understand how the process could work better. But, you know, I'm not a public health expert. I agree that I'm not, what I'm seeing, I can't tell you whether it represents a risk to people's health or not. But I think it's eminently fair that when the administration investigates, when the City Tech team investigates the condition, to report back to the union, this is what we found, this is what we're doing, or we've found this isn't a risk and are acting accordingly.
And I think that mechanism exists because there is labor management meetings where environmental issues are discussed in the labor management at the local level in the campuses, right? And even at the central level, we meet with the president. But
I appreciate that. I think something is getting lost because I don't think it's working as well as it should. Because I don't think they would have brought me out to walk me around and show me the conditions and explain to me that they're not getting that feedback loop. So if we could get your help, and I know that you've got a great team and Jeff and others are on top of this, but I think we would welcome some assistance to make sure that that's happening.
I would definitely do that, Councilmember. Get back to you. If I could get back to Councilmember Brewer, and I actually now pointed to some of the things we've done on the technology side. So we spent about $10.1 million to secure our operations when it comes to cybersecurity. We've spent about $500,000 to improve, on the academic side, something called the ReWorks, which is a system component that allows for financial aid certification and so forth. That's good for the student experience. We've done some work connected CUNY First to around 1.5. CUNY First is the system that we use system-wide to sort of address both not only students but also the financial and all the other areas of the university. We put in about $2.3 million to do a refresh connected to PCs and computers. about another $800,000 to upgrade, different passwords connected to some of our system in terms of cybersecurity. We did another $2 million to upgrade some of the data center, where all our services are kept. We've done some issues connected to, which is the point I was making, connected to if something bad happens, to be able to redundancy, right? We've done some other areas connected to resiliency and improvement, around $2.8 million. So in total, almost over $100 million have been allocated to technology and trying to really address some of the technology need. This is all something that is part of the chancellor's sort of strategic plan to sort of upgrade. And we have coming up campus modernization of $36 million. We're going to upgrade all our phone systems across the university. So we're sort of tackling the technology piece, but I wanted to get back to you on that, and I'm happy to send it to you in writing.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Ressler. It sounds like what he mentioned about feedback back to staff could be addressed with this very well-known Arquebus system. It sounds like an opportunity to have that feedback and conversation. And did I say it right, Arquebus?
You said it right.
All right, good. We love our acronyms. And I would just change one little thing. I agree with Councilmember Ressler. The cuts are not just unconscionable. The cuts make life for our students unsafe and life for our professors unsafe. I'm going to turn it over to Councilmember Bottcher for some questioning. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Are there any efforts using CUNY's vast real estate portfolio to pursue like public-private partnerships to generate ongoing income for CUNY?
Yeah, thank you for your question, Councilman. Good to see you. Always thank you for your support. We obviously, yes, we are looking at where we could do public partnerships. I mean, I think the challenge for me, the most important thing first is to make sure that the mission of the university, when it comes to facilities, are so any of those partnerships have to sort of address some of our facility challenges. But we think there is an opportunity to look at. And try to monetize some of our facilities. Obviously, it's got to be a very thoughtful kind of a process to make sure that it doesn't get caught up in other competing interests, right? That really has nothing to do with CUNY's mission, right? And so at the forefront is really to address the academic needs of the university, and then second, if it's a byproduct that we get some additional resource, and then that's great. But yes, there is. We are working on that.
Does that exist currently anywhere in CUNY's portfolio, any income-producing entities?
Are you asking, do we have a department to sort of focus on income-producing initiatives? Is that what you're asking?
On any of, like, the CUNY campuses, is there any public-private partnership that generates income for CUNY? Or would this be a new approach?
Yeah, this would be something that would be done centrally, all right, because ultimately through this, the facilities are sort of managed, they're managed at the local level, but when it comes to whatever partnership or disposition is done at a central level, we are working with our colleagues at the campus to sort of identify where the opportunities are. And we think that there are probably some opportunities there. We just have to make sure that we approach this in a very thoughtful way that doesn't allow to create community or any kind of issues connected to how we're dealing with those properties. But it's something that obviously at the time when we have limited resources, we have to look at very seriously.
And ostensibly, you would bring in the whole campus community at the outset and involve everyone in the process to get buy-in.
Well, I mean, when it comes to, space rentals and auxiliary, yes, right? When it comes to these kind of projects, we obviously have conversations with the president, the leadership of that particular campus to try to figure out what plans they might have, right? Because we want to make sure that we're mindful of their particular plans. But on rentals and all those things, absolutely. I mean, we're also looking at, our provost recently, really been working very hard on CUNY Online work to bring additional revenues. We're looking at how do we, look at, places we could do cost-related marketing campaigns and all those things. I mean, obviously, we have to make sure that we're obviously, because we're a public entity, we're very thoughtful about that, and there are obviously restrictions.
Thank you, Councilmember Bottcher. In line with that, I think we all recognize the need for more funding and more to be done for both the what you call the vital maintenance about our boilers, HVAC, and the day-to-day maintenance, in part due to funding and in part due to reporting and feedback. But there have also been investments in new facilities. I think you mentioned in your testimony, you did mention the best borough, and the best council district.
I'm smart. I try to, put the.
We got Lehman
chair,
College.
Cannot come.
It's a new nursing facility. So between the struggles with maintenance and brand new facilities, has there been any sort of analysis about how many students and faculty leave due to inability to maintain facilities, or are recruited because of new facilities like the nursing school, or maybe a new sports field, or things of that nature?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're gonna have to get back to you on that, because I don't think we, obviously new facilities like the nursing school, that's only gonna help us, right, be able to recruit, because you and I took a tour of that place. It's incredible, right?
Yeah. Beautiful.
That facility, and I think that obviously it's gonna help with enrollment. Look, I think the facility challenges always, always create problems in terms of, making sure that we keep in those facilities to a point where it doesn't turn off students, right? And we try to work very hard to do that with the limited resources that we have. But it is a constant struggle. I mean, the one point that I think is important for this council to know, in order for us to be able to do projects in the city and get the state funding, we have to get the city to put in the money first, and then we have to wait almost a year to get the state to give us the money. I mean, unless we have all the funding, OMB, and in the 4 years goes DOB, does not allow us to move a project forward. So
was that due to what you said, the Controller's Directive 10 in your testimony? Is that related?
I'm not sure if it's directed to the controllers. Do you know the answer to that?
Because you had said in your testimony a project to be fully funded before moving forward. But now you're saying it's DOB and OMB?
Well, just speaking generally, in order for to receive a proceed directive as part of the certificate to proceed process here in the city, the project needs to be fully funded. That relates back to, government GASB, Government Accounting Standards Board, and certainly Directive 10 with reference to which projects are capitally eligible. So there's a whole review on scope of a project, whether there's full funding, whether the scope is consistent with its adoption, and all of that needs to be done in order to complete the actual review and proceed directive. Before then, you can move to contract registration. So that is a process that exists. We look to streamline it as much as possible by having very good, clean, detailed scopes up front. So we minimize the sort of back and forth and the process that could ensue in terms of questions about projects. So that is certainly a reality. I think what EVC Batista was referring to was sort of the match, right? Community college versus city contributions versus state contributions, and just the budget cycle of that could mean if the state doesn't put up first, because their budget's first, right, then we may have to wait.
But you
until
never
the next
know
cycle.
how late their budget's going to be. It could, you never know.
Yeah, so I think that's really what we were referring to, and if I just may add, as well in terms of your question about the prominence of facility conditions with respect to enrollment and retention, certainly we are mindful of the fact that that is a determinant. And I think, under the Chancellor's leadership, under the leadership of the entire CUNY community, we have a strategic roadmap that's been released. In there are several measurable goals that are matched with metrics. So you will see in there a lot on the academic side about boosting recruitment, about boosting enrollment, but you'll also see a lot about bringing our facilities to a state of good repair and a goal of bringing it to 55% by 2030. So we do have very clear goals. We know that students will, prospective students will make decisions whether to stay or to come. Facilities are a part of it. We need to focus on it, and we are.
When we had a hearing a few months ago about employees here in New York City, and there was a bill to do an exit survey of city employees. Is there a same sort of effort made for students and faculty leaving CUNY to determine whether it was in fact facilities, what type of facilities that was an impetus for them to leave? And in the same vein, are there efforts being made to start collecting data on things like a new nursing school is recruiting brand new students who wouldn't have otherwise come here, to help inform decisions and inform New York City and state budgets on the critical need for repair and investment in new facilities at CUNY?
Aside from whether we have the surveys or we do the survey, I believe, EVC Batista could comment on that. But what I wanted to share with you, Chair Dinowitz, is there is a body of knowledge of research in North America and different areas like outside CUNY to study and look at the correlation between recruitment and retention of students and researchers and professors and the quality of the facility. So there is this body of knowledge there, and it has been documented that a very high correlation between the quality of the indoor environment and the quality of the labs and the buildings and the retention of students and researchers. So we could find that, we don't have it probably for CUNY specific, but it's known in the higher education world that there is such a correlation and relationship. So,
but is it known in the budgeting world, in the city and state budgeting world? And I think a lot of knowledge that many of us in the education sphere take for granted is not necessarily publicly known or publicly shared, for that matter. And of course, it does relate to finances. I mean, colleges across the country have seen, after COVID, lower admissions, and that deals directly with the funding at the college, and you've testified at this hearing. So I think for any of us here, but also OMB, the state budgets, to be critically aware of how those two things are correlated and how it relates directly to the finances of a college. And so are there besides funding, are there other obstacles that have been mentioned today that are obstacles to ensuring that all CUNY facilities are properly maintained?
Sorry, if you can repeat the question.
Sure. Other obstacles besides ones mentioned today, a lot of it dealing with budget, that are obstacles to ensuring that all CUNY facilities are properly maintained?
Well, the overall environment, as I mentioned in our testimony, that there are certain aspects that we are working on to improve in order to improve our ability to better maintain those facilities. So there are the pieces around employing technology, the changing our processes. We are also developing processes to work closely with our with unions and developing a new PLA. So these are aspects that will impact that. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, look, I think that one of the things that under Mohammed's leadership that we're doing is we're holding partners that are partners of CUNY to help us more accountable to delivering projects on time and in budget. DASNY and others, right? They're great colleagues, great agency. We have a tremendous respect for them. Just like we're holding ourselves more accountable. What Mohammed has really done is really gone to the board and asked the board to allow us to bring in most service contracts to be able to be more nimble and be able to address this in a quicker way. I mean, I think ultimately, one of our biggest obstacles in all of this is always the procurement process, right? And sometimes the lengthy process that it takes as is going through that process of different approvals, different agencies that are beyond our control. But I think that if we at the front end do a lot where Mohammed has really focused on design and to make sure that our design process it's not as lengthy as it was, that we don't have a lot of sort of change orders. So we recently have with all the presidents, when we meet with the presidents, really instituted this process that we're gonna now focus on really getting these design things done a lot quicker. If we could begin to cut some of the timeline, there are areas we can't control when it goes to other agencies, but we could control our own internal process. So the charge to Mohammed from me and the chancellor is we gotta do better in terms of improving our own internal process. And I think that he's done some things as he laid out as quickly as he could in this testimony to really begin to address, besides the money issue, us completing projects on time. And we think technology is our friend, right? Mm-hmm. This system, the omnibus system, if we could get our campus to use it better, we get, not criticizing our campus, just to get it to be used the right way and be able to really generate the reports that we think we need so we can begin to address those sort of issues. But the one thing that I'm going to constantly say, health and safety is at the forefront of everything that we do. But there is nuances to it in terms of making sure that if we get one of the systems, we fix that system, then it doesn't allow for them to have a health and safety problem, right? And
yes.
The problem that we haven't fixed those systems. So now you have a leak that leaks down to the other floor. Now you have, it looks like mold, whatever. So we have to address these things, and that's what we're trying to do.
Right. Unfortunately, it's both. If there's a leak, you have to get rid of the mold and also replace
That's right.
the system that did it. But by the way, we don't call it criticizing the presidents or the campuses. We call it feedback. That's what that's what we do. And the goal being to make sure the facilities are better. But we spoke a lot about the maintenance. I'm interested to know some of CUNY's. You already did the BEST project, which was the nursing school. So now there's other things in the pipeline, I'm sure. Just some of the projects that CUNY is making investments in to do some of that recruitment and investment in the colleges and in the students. Are there other projects in the pipeline?
There were a list of projects that were building, like the project at York, the LI Center. What are some of those projects that we have in the pipeline?
In terms of large investment, like large capital projects, yeah. So in our priorities, we have the academic building at York. This is one of our priorities. At Brooklyn College, the Ingersoll Science Building upgrade. That's another priority.
Oh, let me jump in. If I don't say this, I get in trouble with my boss. Hostos Community College, the LI Center. It was in my testimony, so let the record show that I did advocate for Hostos project.
Which Hostos project?
The Allied Health
Allied Health Sciences.
That is a project that is top of our list. Go ahead.
That's and Baruch 17 Lex building, phased upgrade, science building. So
the Spark project, which we have members that are not, but it's a great project which is going to move a school of public health is going to move there. The nursing school for Hunter, and then a health project for Manhattan Community College. I mean, these are all things that we think are going to help us overall with recruitment.
And any other sports facilities?
I think we have a couple of baseball fields that are being renovated. We recently did a lot of work in the College of Staten Island, where they did a lot of. They did a couple of lacrosse field and a couple of other fields to, and that they're a Division II school. And
is a swimming pool at Kingsborough Community College?
A what?
Swimming pool.
Oh, swimming pool.
We're happy to provide you a list of all those projects, but we have quite a few that I think are going to be helpful.
Yeah, very interested to see those too, because right, it's not just fixing all the problems; it's really making investments. And as I say at every hearing, the money we spend on CUNY, it's not expenditures; their investments. I want to thank you for your testimony today and look forward to following up with you on a number of items discussed today, hearing more about the Archibus system, the feedback that's would ideally be enabled in it, and of course, the final analysis of your report on the facilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
A quick reminder to everyone who wishes to testify in person today that you must fill out an appearance card, which is located in the desk of the Sergeant at Arms near the entrance of the room. And please fill this out even if you have already registered to testify in advance. And we will begin public testimony momentarily. We're going to call the first panel. Thank you. The first panel, we have Heather James, Peter Colozzi, and Allison Bardsley. Thank you. The hearing is now open for public testimony. I want to remind members of the public that this is a formal government proceeding and that decorum shall be observed at all times. As such, members of the public shall remain silent at all times. The witness table is reserved for people who wish to testify. No video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recordings as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recordings to the Sergeant at Arms for inclusion in the hearing recording. Once again, if you wish to speak at today's hearing, please fill out an appearance card with the Sergeant at Arms and wait to be recognized. When recognized, you'll have 3 minutes to speak on today's hearing topic, how fit are CUNY facilities. If you have a written statement or additional written testimony you wish to submit for the record, please provide a copy of that testimony to the Sergeant at Arms. And with that, we'll begin with Ms. James for our first panel. Please make sure you're speaking into the microphone and that it is on. Thank you.
Couldn't I not talk at all the last time I was here? That's great.
I'm sorry,
Hello.
one moment.
I won't need 3. I'm going to be the least interesting. There we go.
All right. Ms. James,
Right.
you may begin.
Now you can cut me off if necessary. Good morning. I'm Heather James. I had actually intended to be our wrap-up person, but you know what? I'll start us out instead. I'm a professor of political science at Borough of Manhattan Community College, and I'm the legislative representative for the PSC CUNY, proudly fighting on behalf of workers across CUNY. And I'm here with many of my colleagues today to thank you for your support both in this hearing and in general. We understand that sticking by us is an uphill fight, and you've been a great partner. Of course, we're always here to urge the city to fully fund CUNY, both operating and capital, and create the investments in our future that you just spoke about. For many years, there have been deep cuts to CUNY, amounting to large changes in the experience of faculty and students. I think it's a great question, what happens when our buildings are crumbling? How do students and faculty react to that? Do they leave? You know, I'm privileged to work at BMCC, where our campuses are generally in a better state of repair, but that is not always the case in the outer boroughs and in some neighborhoods. And we really want to stress that all students, faculty, and staff need to have the same experience at CUNY, no matter where they work. We appreciate you asking so many questions about the prioritization of maintenance, because these are questions that we have as well. We also took a look at CUNY's strategic plan, where it said that just 8% of our approximately 300 buildings are in good repair. And we were at the Board of Trustees meeting, where CUNY estimated that the value of its deferred maintenance backlog was about $5 billion, that's a lot, and where CUNY also said that they would attempt to bring 55% of their buildings into a state of good repair by 2030. That sounds ambitious, so we would like to be a partner with you to keep tabs on our maintenance goals, make sure we use strategies to improve, and to make sure there is responsiveness to faculty, staff, and students' maintenance requests. And we also want to emphasize, with a whole 49 seconds left, that to implement any good maintenance strategy, we gotta have staff, okay? We cannot keep our buildings in a state of good repair unless there's people to actually do the work. And part of the backlog is just that there's no one there to get it done. So we would encourage you to focus on that as well as we sort out our maintenance process. Thank you so much, Chair Dinowitz, and to the rest of the committee.
Thank you. I don't want to mess with your order. You can rock, paper, scissors, or you can... Is the microphone on?
Oh. Thank you. Allison Bardsley, I'm a professor of English at the College of Staten Island. I'm also a resident of that borough. And College of Staten Island is not a community college. I'm sure you know we're a comprehensive college. We give associates and bachelor's and also doctoral degrees all the way through that. But the situation that we're facing is similar to the ones that other CUNYs are facing. It seems like you don't need my stories about the library rotunda that leaks in the rain. Or my colleague who's been issued a bucket by Buildings and Grounds to put under the leak because they know they're not going to fix it, or the tutors who have to come down from the second floor of 2S to meet with wheelchair users because the elevator's not working that day and they can't come to the writing center. You're not surprised to find out that I walk past broken mats on a rubber mat, safety mats over a concrete staircase every time I report to campus. You know this. CSI is in a particular state, 204-acre campus. We've never been funded adequately to maintain it because the funding formula is based on the square footage of buildings, and it doesn't take any account into the fact that we have a different different kind of campus. So as a consequence, finally, our administration, through some gift somehow, are fixing the ruts in our pathways, which is good because then I don't have to watch wheelchair users literally getting stuck in ruts, in one case, getting stuck in a rut and having his communication device fall onto the ground next to him. More recently, I didn't witness this one. Someone got stuck in a rut. Thank goodness we had a substitute lecturer strong enough to help him get unstuck. I want to add to the fact that, yes, we need staff. We got a couple of new simulation dummies, I guess they are, in our nursing department, are very important, very successful, very understaffed nursing department. Sadly, the students can't use them because we don't have a full-time supervisor qualified to help them use the simulations. This is added to the fact that our nursing faculty, we're very successful. Our students all have pass rates above everybody else's, including Hunter's. And, but there's just no staff. There's still, they've lost half their faculty in the last X years. So, ongoing problems. You don't need the anecdotes about the mouse who fell on my friend when she was lecturing about Shakespeare. You know this. And you know, I heard you say that our students deserve better. We're the only public institution on Staten Island. My kids don't have anywhere else to go. They come to us and they stay, and I don't want them to feel like this is all they deserve, because you know and I know that they deserve better. Thank you also for your trenchant questions about accountability and transparency around maintenance. I was very thrilled to hear that the implied request to demand that we hear more and that transparency be respected. It was something that you wanted to see from the administration, because we don't get it. We don't get it. Our requests and everything just disappears. I said on labor management, we talk about stuff and it's all fine, fine, fine. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you. And please say your name for the record.
Sure. Good afternoon, distinguished Councilmember Dinowitz, my PSC colleagues, CUNY students, and members of the public. My name is Peter Colozzi. I teach political science at Bronx Community College. I live across the street from Van Cortlandt Park, and you, sir, are my representative, and I am your constituent. I'm here
Glad to have you in the district.
I'm here to urge the council to make the necessary investments in CUNY infrastructure and facilities. But before I discuss CUNY facilities, and specifically those at my home campus, Bronx Community College, where I've worked for 20 years, I want to share a couple quotes with you that capture the theme and perhaps vividly illustrate my point. In 2012, Yale professor Vincent Scully told the New York Times, referring to the magnificent original Penn Station in comparison to the underground tunnels that replaced it, Once one entered the city like a god, now one scuttles in like a rat. In a similar vein, New York Times architecture critic Michael Kimmelman wrote, to pass through Grand Central Terminal, one of New York's exalted public spaces, is an ennobling experience, a gift. To commute via the bowels of Penn Station just a few blocks away is a humiliation. Perhaps more than any other landmark in New York City, Grand Central exhibits what author Eric Klinensberg called a palace of the people. It is a public place. It is a place for the people. It is a place, when walking through it, you get a certain feeling. It is impressive. It is ennobling. Walking through it as a regular New Yorker, you sense respect, that you are valued and respected because the place you inhabit is valued. CUNY's mission and its reason for being, to offer a high-quality education and opportunities for the people of the city of New York, also exhibits these ennobling feelings and values. In a sense, each one of CUNY's campuses is a palace of the people in the community where the campus is located. Yet when one actually walks into many CUNY campuses, inhabits the classrooms and science labs, the feelings that are stirred are not ones of pride, appreciation, dignity, but feelings of humiliation and abandonment. According to CUNY's own recent facility condition assessment, only 8% of CUNY buildings are in a state of good repair. That's only 24 out of 300 buildings. In baseball terms, 24 out of 300 gets you a batting average of .80. An average like that does not land you in the Hall of Fame or any palace of baseball royalty. It lands you in the Hall of Shame. At my own campus, BCC, while there have been some positive steps recently compared to the catastrophes of the few years ago, facilities at BCC reveal that many years of underinvestment has led to severe facilities issues. BCC students, faculty, and staff learn and work at a historic campus that from afar looks wonderful, but upon closer look, a different reality emerges. no, can I keep going?
Can you finish your last sentence, and you could submit the
Oh,
rec
no.
for written
I didn't
testimony?
even get through a lot of it. Okay. These conditions don't convey to our students and BC faculty that they are valued, that they are treated with dignity and respect. But we can do better. BCC can be a palace of the people, but it needs the crucial investment in its facilities to rebuild the crumbling buildings, but also to rebuild and to reinvigorate our civic culture, renew the sense that we are part of the community, that we take care of each other, and that the city as a whole benefits from investing in our public institutions.
Thank you. I have one question, and you sort of answered it, but what do you, after the testimony, but based on your experience, what do you see as the obstacles to maintaining facilities on the campus?
Well, I agree with like what Heather said. I mean, we've lost a lot of buildings and grounds staff. There's not enough people to clean, literally to clean. And the paint is worn down to the metal all over my campus. It would take an army of people to even identify where the paint needs to go, much less apply it. So you can't separate the staffing problems from the material problems.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree at BCC as well. We put in work orders for various, things to fix the classrooms, labs, and all that kind of stuff. And again, sometimes they're fixed, but oftentimes it takes a long time. And the reason that we are given is because of understaffing. We just don't have the personnel to do the work, to process the procurements, and so on and so forth. So I sit on the labor management meeting as well, and these are the issues that we bring up and the answers that we get from our administration. A crucial thing is the staffing shortage.
Right. Thank you so much for your testimony today. I'm going to call the next panel Richard Jones, Juan Carlos Vasquez, and Mr. Finley. Do you have pre-planned who's going to go first? Then I'll start on my left. And yes, and just please state your name for the record before you begin speaking, before you begin your testimony.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you again for being here today and having this hearing. My name is Juan Vasquez. I'm a student at Bronx Community College, majoring in political science. I won't bore you with going into detail about what you've already heard and know, be it the mold and vital infrastructure issues like the boiler. That being said, there are issues that weren't touched upon, like the fact that several of our buildings at Bronx Community College aren't wheelchair accessible. And on my campus, we haven't had a cafeteria for over 3 semesters. Our track field is crumbling, and we have a pool that's been decommissioned for God knows how long at this point. There's literally windows that are opaque on an entire building on our campus. And I just wanted to touch real quick on what we heard earlier about the potential revenue generated by CUNY. Again, what we're pushing for is funding of CUNY. That being said, I do feel there is compromise. I pushed on my campus that we should consider renting out empty parking lots to the local communities at night so that we could, 1, alleviate local congestion, 2, create that revenue source, and 3, alleviate as well the fees that students and faculty have to pay for parking on our campus. Again, that's basically my testimony.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Richard Jones. I go to the City College of New York. I'm also a student liaison with the CUNY Rising Alliance. When I first saw the City College of New York in 2019, I was frankly underwhelmed. I chose the school because of the academics. I allowed myself to accept the college was simply class and home. Why spend time on campus when the college abandons upkeep of the public spaces and facilities? The North Academic Center at City College, for example, is an asbestos-ridden monstrosity. When it began college, the upper plaza and bridge connecting to Marshack across the street was closed. The plaza is now open, with no work done to it, but the bridge connecting the 2 buildings is still closed. It took 5 years to get work started on it. I mean, it was probably closed before it even began, though. Elevators, escalators, and even the plumbing barely work, with buckets, trash cans, and ceiling tiles moving, vanishing, and perpetually dripping. The outdated elevators and escalators are perpetually being repaired. I should not hear stories of professors being hurt because of the accessible options to get upstairs being out of service. My own experiences alone make me consider keeping count if the train or having to walk up 7 flights of stairs have made me more late for class. Your funding primarily benefits community colleges, and I'm here as an advocate for these community colleges too. They face the same issues as the four-year schools, like broken heating and bad ventilation perpetuated by chronic disinvestment from the city. CUNY graduates provide so much benefit to the city, and so many of them stay to show their commitment to New York, in spite of the innumerable options inside and outside of the city. As the mayor continues to push for disinvestment, this makes CUNY a less attractive choice to prospective students. In the face of CUNY's severe infrastructural issues and pleas from faculty, students, and alumni, will you uphold the promise of CUNY and provide quality places of learning and working for New Yorkers, or will you continue to disinvest and risk the educational pillar of modern New York City crumbling, literally and figuratively?
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Connor Finley. I'm a student of Queensborough Community College. I did not expect to be speaking today, so forgive me if this seems a little rushed or disjointed. I'm a member of the Queensborough Community College YDSA, and I'm appearing to represent them, but I'm also appearing here as a student. For those in the audience, QCC is over half of our student body is non-white, roughly half of our student body is beyond typical college age, and 60% of our student body are below the poverty line. I'm here to testify mostly as a student. Our staff and our students, they're trying the best they can, but if sturdy and funding cuts continue to be pushed through, trying won't be enough. Our buildings are all over 50 years old. Many of our elevators date from the same era. Most of them are objectively at the end of their working life, and the remainder are just as unreliable. This has consequences. Repeatedly, disabled students have gone up to classes on the upper floors of our buildings and then been trapped up there when the elevators ceased functioning, and these are the ones that the public can access without a key. The remainder of the learning situation is not welcoming or conducive to learning. Our classrooms are water damaged. The ceiling panels are often broken and removed outright. None of the clocks... I'm sorry, I will not speak objectively. Most of the clocks do not work. The AC and the heat have repeatedly stopped working. I could personally attest to how hard working in a 90-degree classroom in July is. 2 entrances have been closed since at least COVID to our building, and there is no sign of them being reopened, which in addition to leaving several parking lots inaccessible, also creates dangerous traffic situations from people double parking in order to get in. Our staff have also been affected by these cuts. It's not just the material. Our CLTs have been gutted and moved away from the departments which they were previously assigned to. Our staff have been working without a contract for just over a year. Not cutting funding is patching a leak in the boat, but patching a leak in the boat is so much better for us and for our students than needing a life preserver. From the students of QCC and for the students of QCC and for the students of every community college in the city, I implore the city to listen. Thank you.
Thank you. 2 questions, and they're very simple. Do you know where to go to report issues with maintenance?
Yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, you could do a work order. So that's
do students?
Well, no, students can. It would have to be.
But who do you go to?
Well, I would find a maintenance worker, someone I'd see, and I would report it to them. Or if not, at times I would just go to public safety in the hopes that they would make the report.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know where you go if there's a maintenance issue?
Absolutely not. I usually just complain to my professors and we just agree that it's an issue, and then just that's the way the world is.
I do not believe the information I'm reporting them is publicly accessible to students, no. But the thing is, many of these have been reported repeatedly.
I'm sorry, to whom?
To the ground staff.
Okay. And my only other question, we'll start with you, Mr. Finley, because you started with... If you knew a high school junior or senior, would you recommend them to go to your CUNY campus for school? They want to go to college. Should they go to your college?
I mean, the thing is that I'm not going to say that the staff haven't been trying their best with what they've been given. So, I mean, if they needed a community college, I wouldn't necessarily say no, but with the caveat that a lot of this is falling apart and a lot of it is going to need repairs.
Thank you.
I mean, I would say when I first started, probably not, because I had such like a love-hate relationship with the school, because all I could see at the beginning was just everything that was broken. And as time has gone by, I've kind of like warmed up more to like the side of like the academics and like embracing the fact that I did go to the school for the academics. Other than like Shepherd Hall and like some like the older buildings that call it the poor man's Harvard, I don't really recommend like the school for its facilities. I mean, the architecture building is cool, but it's ironic that there's a big leak in the roof currently that they have to fix, so.
Is that one of those 100-year-old buildings, perhaps?
It was the former library.
Okay. Juan?
It's a bit of a bitter pill, like this question, because as a native New Yorker, as a Bronxite, I'm proud. I'm proud to be a Bronxite. And I say that with my chest held up high and a smile on my face. And honestly, at BCC, even with all the problems, I'm happy. I'm probably the happiest I've ever been, because there's so many people like Professor Colosi, like people I work with at CRA, whether it's Ava or Richard, whoever, that are here and uplifting us and fighting, and that motivates me. So yeah, I definitely recommend it, because it is a hidden gem.
Thank you all so much for your testimony today.
Thank you.
Now call the next panel is Jean Grassman and Fabiola Salek Asef. You may begin. And please state your name for the record.
Okay. My name is Fabiola.
Can you please make sure the microphone's on?
Okay. So my name is Fabiola Salek Asef. You said you cannot share video. Can you share images? Can I add it to my testimony when I submit it in writing? Yes. Like photos? Okay, cool. Good afternoon. Thank you for your support in setting up this hearing. I'm a professor and chair of the World Languages, Literatures, and Humanities Department, as well as the vice chair of PCCUNY York chapter. York is one of the 9 colleges of concern, identified by CUNY with a deficit of $11.5 million that our college is not able to absorb, given the chronic underfunding we are, and since the budget allocation formula for York as a New York college heavily relies on tuition, the revenue, thus a drop in enrollment will impact us more than other schools. These budget cuts have plunged the college into a spiral of despair, where even our future existence seems to be in question. Since our establishment in 1967, our campus has served as an engine of mobility for our diverse student body, with many first-generation students, and it was established in Jamaica, Queens, at the behest of the Jamaica community. However, historical underfunding has led to pressing issues impacting York's campus and students' experience, jeopardizing education quality and jeopardizing the health and safety. With my fellow colleagues and the CUNY Watchdogs, where she's part of, we have been conducting periodic walkthroughs, assessing water damage in the roof, possible mold, but reluctance to conduct any testing by the administration, rodent infestations in the library and other common areas, and unfortunately we have met with lack of transparency at every step. Some of the infrastructure concerns, since fall 2019, our campus has lacked a cafeteria, depriving students of a vital resource for sustenance and community engagement. The closest dining options are about 10 minutes away. The closest opening date, we were told this semester, is fall 2025. Elevators and electrical stairs are in constant state of repair. As we heard, that's common in many CUNY campuses. Persistent flooding due to roof damage with leaks, notably in the library, has resulted in water stain and missing ceiling tiles, raising concerns about mold growth and structural integrity. And after a rainy day, we can see buckets strategically placed in different areas. Many areas have been cordoned off due to the leaks, and tiles have fallen near students, faculty, and staff. Thus, several areas are now off limits. Additional areas, including the biology department, labs, and financial aid office, have also suffered flooding due to busted water pipes. In my own department, one of the language labs floods on a yearly basis, damaging computers and equipment. This is exacerbated. Okay, sorry.
Thank you. And so you can submit testimony online within 72 hours of this hearing.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You may begin.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'd like to thank you for holding this hearing. My name is Jean Grassman, and I'm an associate professor at the CUNY Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy. And I'm speaking on behalf of the desperate need to improve our buildings' physical infrastructure so that the nearly 42,000 instructional and classified CUNY employees, of which 30,000 are PSC members, along with over 225,000 students, have a safer and healthier conditions to work with. And I'm qualified to do this. I teach industrial hygiene, and I've been the health and safety coordinator at the PSC for 15 years. So we know that, we've heard that, the CUNY has over 300 buildings, and their average age is 50 years. So systems are outdated. So what I'd really like to talk about is an example of a process that happens at CUNY. And I'm going back to Bronx Community College. And as we know, BCC is a Black and Hispanic serving school. The majority of students receive financial aid, and 40% have annual household incomes less than $15,000. So in 2019, the heating pipes in Colston Hall froze, and it flooded dozens of offices and classrooms, and there were concerns about mold, and they had to relocate for 6 weeks. So you might say, well, in 2019, it was a long time ago. Well, last year, heat went out in several buildings, including Meister Hall, and staff, student, and faculty were shivering for weeks in the cold. It was only after the situation was covered in a national story published in Inside Higher Education that a mobile boiler was brought in to provide heat. So you might say that was an isolated incident, but last year a steam pipe broke in a classroom in Colston Hall, and it soaked a couple of rooms. And let me repeat, this is a steam pipe breaking in a classroom. Luckily, no one was present and there were no injuries, but it's a pattern, and it's a pattern of failure that's dangerous. So when we were doing reoccupancy walkthroughs at BCC, one of our members was horrified by the decayed condition of the classrooms. And I have a photo I'm submitting with my testimony. It was so bad that the instructor was in tears and pleaded for better space, saying, "Please do something about this for the dignity of my students." So BCC is not the only campus with problems. I could tell you about the hot studio temperatures or the black goo dripping from the ceiling at Brooklyn College, the water leaks and associated black mold at BMCC, Medgar Evers, City College, City Tech, and so on, but I only have 3 minutes. So I'm urging for the support that's needed. That's what we're fighting for at the PSC, needed to correct these conditions. And it comes with a lot of levels of benefits. It not only makes a healthier and safer workplace for our members, but it permits us to better do the work that we love at CUNY.
Thank you. And if you had more, same thing, you can submit written testimony. Just very quickly, a student comes up to you. They say, "I really want to be a professor. I'm thinking about working at CUNY." I'm interested to know what you would tell them based on the facilities, if that would impact your decision to guide them to work at CUNY or another institution.
Oh, I would tell them to do it. I think all of us, that's what we share. And I have been like on every campus in dozens of buildings, and I know I've seen horrors. But it's really the students and what CUNY does for New York and what CUNY can convey. And so that's just, for, I think for me is a no-brainer, like do it, but know that you're gonna have to struggle with certain things and the physical conditions are significant. And I know that faculty have left because of conditions, so that's.
I think that's especially true for people that need labs, lab space, and they need to conduct experiments. It's very tough. I mean, we have people that, basically for coming up for tenure and promotion, they need a running lab, and it takes years sometimes for the lab to be set up, and by that time, we're setting them up for failure. That said, I think the faculty is outstanding. I think there is a lot of lack of transparency with the administrations, and we basically have a two-tier system where the administrations come and go, for example, basically the faculty is there for the long term, but the administrations, if they feel like this is not working, they just find a new job and leave. So that is a consistent problem. And I think there is basically no sharing. You heard this before, right? They know all this, but I don't know why they try to, instead of putting up a solution, they try to hide it, basically some college presidents are clearly not reporting, or if they're reporting, there's no solution being put forward.
Thank you so much for your testimony today. I'm going to be calling the next panel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Aisha Schmidt, Erin Lawson, and John Sirico. You may begin your testimony, and as a reminder, please state your name for the record.
Who should go first? Go ahead. Good afternoon. I'm John Sirico, the Senior Fellow for Climate and Opportunity at the Center for Durham Future, an independent think tank focused on creating a stronger, more inclusive economy in New York. Thank you to Chair Dinowitz and the committee for the opportunity to testify. The Center for Durham Future has published extensive research on the opportunities for policymakers to strengthen CUNY as the city's most important economic mobility engine, from launching CUNY Reconnect to expanding the vital CUNY ACE program. But policymakers have another massive opportunity ahead to help that engine go green. Building a greener CUNY won't just help the city meet its crucial emissions reductions goals, it will also help modernize an institution like we heard today that helps more New Yorkers achieve economic mobility than any other, but sadly is also home to an alarming number of buildings that are failing its mostly low-income students. CUNY's nearly 300 buildings cover 29 million ground square feet. The majority are over 50 years old, relying on gas and oil-fired boilers and window ACs. They are equipped with their original single-pane glass windows, insufficient insulation, and fixtures consuming far more resources than modern alternatives. Only about 8% are in a state of good repair. Even so, though, CUNY has made progress. After a pandemic lull, the system's carbon emissions intensity continued to drop in 2022 and 2023. But the system now faces a 24% cut to capital funding with this budget request, which was already woefully insufficient to meet basic needs, let alone help slash the system's carbon footprint. CUNY has developed a smart 5-year plan to meet its climate goals, but lacks the resources to see it through. Meeting the city and state's commendable targets for carbon emission reduction will be all but impossible without a major new focus on helping decarbonize CUNY. Now is the time to act. New state and federal legislation has catalyzed billions of dollars in new funding and financing for building retrofits. New York should leverage this moment to make a generational investment in CUNY's net zero future. Fortunately, this effort has a secret weapon, CUNY itself. The CUNY Building Performance Lab serves as a hands-on research center for New York's decarbonization efforts. City College has cutting-edge renewable energy and building electrification research centers. Students can earn degrees and certifications in everything from clean energy HVAC to solar power to sustainability in the urban environment. CUNY has the talent to realize this vision with a sustained capital investment. The next steps are clear. First, this council should lead a major new initiative to green CUNY and identify it as a key target for federal and state decarbonization funds. Second, City Hall and Albany should work together to boost CUNY capital investment in this and future budgets with the focus on decarbonization and state of good repair needs. And third, city and state leaders should work with CUNY officials to harness its immense pool of talent to build a more sustainable future. By tapping into this unprecedented alignment, the nation's most effective public university can also become its greenest too. Thank you.
Thank you. You may begin.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Aisha Schmidt, and I am the Higher Education Coordinator for the New York Public Interest Research Group, NYPIRG. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. Safe, modern, efficient, and accessible building and infrastructure at CUNY should be a given. It should be top priority for City Council and our state government to properly fund CUNY's capital budget to provide a learning environment that encourages enrollment and supports a student's path to graduation. At bare minimum, CUNY facilities need to provide safe access to students' classes and other campus facilities. Unfortunately, as a former CUNY student and now someone who works at a CUNY campus, I have seen the deterioration of our college campuses over the past 9 years. From broken elevators to malfunctioning heating during the winter to falling ceiling tiles to pest problems, the situation is serious at our campuses. Students who have buildings either too hot to have class and focus while it is overheating, or buildings with no heat at all that lead to classes being moved to remote learning, like in Bronx Community College last winter. Former Hunter College student Inez Schmidt shared how her classes had to dismiss early in fall of 2022 because of how unbearable the heat had gotten. These are not safe learning conditions for our students. Building accessibility is a problem at a number of campuses. For one example, Hunter College students like Ariadna Silva and Emily Clapper have shared that they experience elevator delays consistently in buildings with nearly 20 floors, sometimes adding additional 15 minutes, making them late for class. We have heard from College of Staten Island students that ceiling tiles have been missing or have fallen during classes. More examples can be found searching social media tags such as #CrumblingCUNY or looking at the NYPIRG Story Bank on our website. With a huge backlog of deferred maintenance in the billions of dollars, city and state have not properly funded CUNY's facilities. To conclude, infrastructure issues at CUNY, and specifically at community colleges and comprehensive schools, should be a top focus before the situation continues to get worse. I implore the committee to fight for full capital funding for CUNY, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Erin Lawson, and I have recently been hired as the Student Organizing Campaign Director for New Yorkers for Higher Education Funding Justice, an organizing campaign that engages students in conversations about higher education funding inequality and the value of public institutions, as well as to advocate for the passage of the New York State Repair Act. Repair, or repeal egregious property accumulation and invest it right, is legislation that demands that NYU and Columbia pay their fair share back to New York City. NYU and Columbia are the largest private landowners in New York City, and yet for decades they have received real property tax exemptions, which causes New York to lose out on more than $300 million each year. How many CUNY faculty members and course offerings could be saved with over $300 million? How many CUNY students could graduate on time instead of being held back with over $300 million? How many crumbling CUNY buildings and dilapidated classrooms and broken elevators could be repaired with over $300 million? How many hungry CUNY students could be fed with over $300 million? How many of CUNY's unhoused students could be housed with over $300 million? As CUNY students go hungry, as their classrooms fall apart, as their professors and professional staff are laid off, and the services they deserve and the classrooms they need to graduate are cut, NYU and Columbia gobble up their surrounding communities, destroying neighborhoods and kicking people out of their homes in an egregious display of wealth and property accumulation as they refuse to pay back their fair share to the city of New York. 82% of CUNY students went to a New York City public high school, and 85% of CUNY students stay in New York City after they graduate. Over half of CUNY graduates go on to work in healthcare, social assistance, education, and public administration, providing many of New York's teachers, nurses, social workers, and other essential workers. The positive impact of CUNY on New York City could not be clearer. An investment into CUNY is an investment into our city. The demand of repair is very simple: for NYU and Columbia to pay their fair share. If NYU and Columbia were any other corporation, everyone would be outraged at this blatant display of tax evasion. But NYU and Columbia hide behind the guise of education while refusing to give back to the public education system which runs this city. The Council included support for repair in its 2024 state budget priorities, and we thank you for acknowledging the importance of a well-funded and well-repaired CUNY. The students of New York across CUNY campuses and NYU and Columbia alike are already gathering, organizing, and agitating around repair. We would like to say to all the legislators and NYU and Columbia, what we are demanding is so simple. If you're going to develop in our city so aggressively, if you're going to accumulate wealth and property in such an egregious manner, if you're going to benefit from everything New York City has to offer, you should pay your fair share of taxes. And furthermore, these taxes should go right back into the pockets of the institution of public higher education to benefit the students who make this city run.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank this panel for their testimony. And we have one more panel on Zoom. Got it. Okay, thank you. So this concludes our in-person portion of our public testimony. We will now move to remote testimony. If you are Okay. In the meantime, while she's filling out a form, we'll move to public Zoom testimony. If you are testifying remotely, once your name is called, a member of our staff will unmute you, and you may begin once the Sergeant at Arms sets the clock and cues you. There are currently 2 Zoom registrants, and we are going to begin with Lena Marie Kirchner.
Good afternoon. My name is Lena Marie Kirchner, and I am a student at the College of Staten Island of the City University of New York. I'm a volunteer member of the New York Public Interest Research Group at CSI and testifying as a student. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to testify in this very important testimony for higher education in New York City today. I'm an international student from Germany, and I arrived here in New York 3 months ago. I just began my undergraduate program with a major in psychology. The experiences that I already made in this short time regarding the financial issue of the CUNY and SUNY schools are very alarming to me. The College of Staten Island is an amazing institution for higher education with the biggest campus in New York City. It is beautiful and the student body is big, and I love to be a part of it. It makes me sad to hear and to see how students struggle with having multiple jobs, having issues with their transportation to come to college, and the personal issues they have to deal with and feel left alone with. Many students have to face poverty and do not even have enough money to buy menstrual products, or they have to skip meals to be able to pay their bills. I cannot say how many emails I received during the last months, which informed me about elevator failures, construction sites, or even pipe bursts that made people move their offices. Some doors of the stalls and the restrooms fail to close properly, some water taps do not run, and the facilities are old and tend to have areas in need of renovation. The last issue I would like to name is the lack of student support and safety. During the last 3 months, I was a witness of discrimination like racism, gender discrimination, sexual harassment, and the pain that it leads to. I know about situations when bathrooms, which are supposed to be private and intimate areas, were used to make inappropriate videos of women when they were vulnerable and felt safe, or to discriminate against transgender students. With more money, we could improve the safety on campus and create a safe environment to study, work, and live. To create a safe environment on campus, an appropriate environment to study or work, and to avoid burnouts of young students even before they started to work in their profession, we need CUNY and SUNY to be funded completely by the government. I love the city. I really love to go to the College of Staten Island, and I know that most of the students would agree with me. And this is only one of many amazing colleges of CUNY and SUNY. I hope we will get the support that we need to make this experience possible for everyone, regardless of their income, and to support the current student body regarding the named issues. Please help us. Thank you for your time and for listening to me.
Thank you. I will now call our next remote panelist, and I apologize in advance for the mispronunciation, Cole Jagdeo.
Starting time.
Hello. Good morning, City Council, Chairperson, and members. My name is Koljak Deo, and I'm a student at Queens Community College. I live in Maspeth, New York, with my parents and brother. We're all here to speak to you about the state of CUNY infrastructure and whether or not it is fit. It is not. On my campus, students have a clear view of many ongoing infrastructure projects. I fear that these investments are short-sighted. A lot of the projects are much needed, but community colleges lack a long-term investment strategy, specifically into strategic initiatives. While senior professional and graduate colleges see an increase of around $1 million per year in strategic initiatives, oh, sorry, that's incorrect, around $5 billion over the next 5 years, the community colleges have less than half of that, around $1 billion. The totaling amounts are jarring, but if we account for the number of senior, professional, and graduate colleges, it seems to make sense. What doesn't make sense is the requested capital budget of community colleges for the years 2025 to 2027. Community colleges are requesting zero, best case scenario less than $1,000 for strategic investment specifically. I hope to urge this panel to find a way to ease the pressures community colleges face, specifically physical infrastructure, which I'm glad you guys are so passionate about. I believe that prioritizing finishing physical infrastructure quickly and effectively will ease the pressures and allow the faculty at our institutions to request and strategize for better investments long term. An example of how the city's short-term solution approaches have harmed community college students would be internet access. Queens Community College has had a long history of inconsistent internet availability. Recently, we've had 2 outages. One of them reportedly solved, and we got an email saying it was solved. And the next day, we come into classes and professors are unable to access their lessons. Students are unable to access research sites. My peers and I are unable to fact check sources, answer interdisciplinary questions, and build depthful conversations without access to reliable internet. By prioritizing the infrastructure of CUNY colleges that are the least modern with the lowest reliability, I believe that we'd be able to push CUNY into the direction of what it was meant to be, a lasting institution that grants social mobility to those with the least resources. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Cole. Is Matthew Arends online? Okay, thank you. We will now go back to in-person testimony with Johanna Von Meck.
Okay, thank you so much for hosting this today. My name is Johanna. I'm a student at Hunter College, and I'm also a former Brooklyn College alumni. And I will say that during my time at CUNY, I have seen so many problems related to infrastructure, most of it just within this last year at Hunter. Broken elevators, broken escalators, rundown classrooms, broken facilities, libraries, cafeterias, all facing these same conditions, making it harder for students to study or even eat healthily. Signs displaying asbestos warnings, mold on the floors, problems with rats, bed bugs, roaches. I mean, you read the article. You know what it's like. Anytime it rains, I don't think the article mentioned this, I see how Hunter College puts out these buckets and these fluorescent swimming pools to try and catch the water. And these are just conditions that are not just at Hunter, but other CUNY campuses as well. And I'm just here more so to kind of convey the frustration that I have, especially more so when I saw admin here earlier today. I'm always hearing, that these discussions related to funding and repairing infrastructure, but I'm not seeing it happen, and neither are a lot of the students, faculty, and staff, some who are here, some who are online, most who weren't able to make it. I'm hearing so much about CUNY funding being put into the construction of buildings like the Spark or the nursing center that they mentioned here earlier today. But conveniently, CUNY admin failed to mention that it's being built after the Brookdale dorms are being torn down, one of the only affordable options for CUNY students to dorm in. I'm always hearing stuff about money being invested in AI programs and all these other things, but Where's the funding that's fixing the very real and current problems that CUNY students are currently facing, that's impacting their ability to learn and to teach? Only 8% of our buildings are in a state of good repair, and it is a shame that New York has even allowed it to get this bad. Our city needs to invest in CUNY, not necessarily because it generates a profit or it's a good business decision. That isn't how we should be perceiving a university. CUNY needs to be invested so New Yorkers can have access to a fully funded institution that can help enrich the city and transform the lives of millions. And I just don't know how we're going to do that if we're dealing with leaky ceilings and tiles. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Is there anyone else in the room who plans to testify? Is there anyone else online who plans to testify? I want to thank everyone for coming today, for everyone who testified, the advocates, the students, the professors, and CUNY administration for, now my time's running out. It happens even to me. I want to thank everyone for testifying today. It's very clear that there are a lot of investments that need to be made both in the physical structures of our buildings, but also in the communication and the transparency of the repairs that really need to go on, and that there are a lot of investments being made in new buildings, but it's clearly not enough. And as we move forward, I look forward to ensuring that those investments are made with the staff, with the funding, and working with CUNY to ensure that CUNY remains a world-class institution that serves as the greatest engine of social and economic mobility in New York and in the country. The meeting is adjourned.